It's time to dad.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Time to Dad. I'm here with JT and Will. Thanks for joining us. It's been a couple weeks. I may or may not have fucked up last time we were supposed to record, and I was trying to put some windows in on the house and totally didn't realize what the fuck time it was till I checked my phone at 9 o'clock. It was like, oh shit. And then the week after that, we had storm issues. JT didn't have power, so we didn't. We didn't have enough dudes to record. So here we are. Thanks for coming back, hanging out with us. I'm sorry we missed a couple episodes. Honestly, I think you guys are gonna live though, so it'll be okay. But we'll try and get back on track from here on out. But yeah, sorry about that, and thanks for joining us tonight. Let's see. Let's do a quick check-in since it's been a hot fucking minute. What is going on in the lives of JT and Will? Anything major? Anything new?
A whole lot of family coming into town.
Nice.
Got my father-in-law in right now. My wife's friend came in a couple days before that. That was an interesting story that I'd love to break into a little bit because we actually had a hospital run in the middle of the night. We can cover that here in a second. And then we had my mom and my aunt fly in from Washington. Got to hang out with them for a few days. And then they flew out to go see JT and my sister. So that was a lot of fun. That was fun, but I am ready for some house of seclusion and people staying the heck away from my house. Like, I'm okay with people not forgetting where I live for a little while. I'd be appreciated. But real quick, the story of my wife's friend. So she drives up from Florida, and just 2 weeks before she drove up here, she let us know. She's like, "Yeah, I had a run in where I had to go to the hospital." And we were like, "Oh, what for?" She's like, "I had some food stuck in my throat." And we were like, "Oh, okay, that happens. Sure, we'll just let that slide. That's fine." And then we started hanging out. We're having a good time, and then my kids were like, "Let's go have sushi." And so we're like, "Okay, let's go have sushi." We have a little sushi bar that's right near the house. It's got turntables, like full Japanese, the works. And chow down on some sushi. We get back to the house. Everybody's like, "All right, it's 8 o'clock. Let's start winding down, get ready for bed, put everybody to bed." My wife and I are just sitting in bed watching some TV, and all of a sudden we get a text from her, and she's like, "Hey, are you guys up?" And we were like, "Yeah." She's like, "I need you to come to the bathroom. I'm not doing good." And we're like, "What is happening?" My wife goes into the bathroom, and she's like bent over the toilet, can't breathe, and then all of a sudden she passes out and falls down onto the side of the toilet. And my wife's like, "Hon, you got to call 911. Like, we need the ambulance here." What is happening right now? That endeavor turned into a full night of debauchery. Me staying up until 5 o'clock in the morning. My wife getting like an hour of sleep, and it turns out she has gallstones. And so all of the fatty acids, all the fatty foods and the avocado and the salmon and everything else with all the fats, she couldn't process it. So it got stuck in her esophagus and caused her to have inflammation in there that pressed on her lungs, which means she couldn't breathe. So that's why she passed out. And I was like, "Oh my goodness, what an adventure."
What? Damn, that's something the Heimlich wouldn't even help.
No, it was funny. My wife tried to do the Heimlich, and she got her to throw up a couple of times, but it wasn't enough. Like, there was no saving that girl. They had to end up having to like take her in. They had to give her liquid lidocaine, which I didn't even know that was a thing. And then they had to, and apparently it's just as bad as it sounds. It was a very interesting 24 hours, to say the least.
That's why you wanted everybody gone. Enough excitement.
No, 100%. But that's new. That's the news with me. Just a whole lot of people hanging out at the house and me just playing chaperone.
Nice.
Pass it over to JT. How you doing?
And busy with work. It's been pretty overwhelming. Trying to keep things balanced with the fire department. Waiting on some big reimbursement checks to come in, and they finally came in, and I still hadn't even had an opportunity to deposit them because work has just been so busy. I work from home, so it's just hard to balance sometimes, especially on busier days than normal. During the week and that started during the week that your mom and Aunt Mary or your aunt were here, and we Kyla took some PTO to spend the week with them, and a couple days Jasper stayed here for a few hours, so that definitely made being at home while working interesting. But my peopling is not complete because I've got family coming in from Pennsylvania here in a couple weeks. We're going to be having them here for 2 weeks.
No.
So
No,
and
sir.
that's my dad, his wife, and 2 half siblings. One of which is 21, and the other is a 9-year-old spastic girl. Yeah, and they'll be here for a couple weeks.
Nope.
It's all right. We're looking forward to it.
I'd be taking my own vacation.
Well,
Man, I'll tell you, like, that's actually one thing I really wanted to talk about. So you mentioned the other kids. So my wife's friend that came up, she had a 9-year-old, and the 9-year-old was diagnosed with ADHD, like hyper versions of it or like extreme versions of it, and then like I think it's like, oh gosh, what's the acronym that they said it was? Basically, she despises anything of authority, and she fights
opposition
against
defiant.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Opposite. That's what it was.
that
daughter
sounds like a
had that.
typical child.
Yeah.
I had that.
No,
I mean,
it's
but I
like
wasn't
it's like
diagnosed.
on a whole different level, dude.
She was on a whole other level, and I wanted to figure out, like, I don't know if I handled it right, but there was one night she was, and so, like, for instance, she's not allowed to have any dyes in her food.
Yep.
Otherwise it'll react to her and she'll become very confrontational.
Let me tell you. Go ahead. No, I'll tell you a story.
No.
I was gonna say.
So we were.
Yeah. Okay, go.
Okay,
I'll
finish up mine, and then we'll hear yours. So we were hanging out one night. This was the night that we had to call the ambulance. And my niece had come over because her daughter wanted to get some like tinsel in her hair. It's a new craze that all the girls are doing right now. They're putting tinsel in their hair and tying it to their hair.
Like a Christmas tree tinsel?
Kind of, yeah. It's just like a little streamer, basically, and it just ties into the near the root, and then it hangs down in the hair.
But for your hair.
Exactly, 100%. And my daughter loves it, and so she was like, "Can you do that with my hair?" And we were like, "Well, my niece can do it better than any of us, so let's just call her over." She comes over, and starting out, like, the whole night was fine. Conversation was very neutral. She was like, "We're good." And then all of a sudden, she looks at my niece and she's like, "You burn my hair, I'm going to burn your face." And I was like,
Ooh.
Okay.
Violent.
I am not dad, so I don't respond to that. It's not my kid. My philosophy is, not my kid, not my problem. You take care of your kid. Well, then she starts screaming at her mom, and her mom responds by putting her in the corner. She does the routine, like she puts her in the corner, yells at her, beats her butt, like all the fun stuff. And then all of a sudden she's like, go up to the room and go to sleep. And she's like, "I will not." And starts stomping her feet, like acting like a 2-year-old. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep to myself on this one. I'm just gonna let this ride. That's fine. Mom's handling it. It's okay. They go upstairs, and all of a sudden we start hearing stuff getting thrown around the room. And my wife's like, "Honey, you need to get up there and you need to handle that." And it's like, son of a gun. I hate handling other people's kids because I don't know how hard I could be. Like, where's the line? Because my kids,
welcome to the fun of T-ball coaching.
Oh yeah. So then I go upstairs and I just look at her. I'm like, she was on the top bunk of our little bunk bed for my kids. I was like, "Get down." And then she tried to respond to me, and I was like, "Absolutely not." So I raised my voice, and being a prior military guy and a DI, like, I have a pretty loud voice. And so I made it echo pretty loud in the house. And my wife was like, "That was too much." And I was like, "I don't know about that." I feel like I responded in kind, but hey, who knows? Anyway, long story short, that whole interaction just felt very awkward to me because, again, like, it's just one of those situations where, like you said, T-ball, I just don't know where that line sits for, can I get this loud? What words can I say? What words can't I say? When are you going to become, a Karen and start yelling at me for yelling at your kid and all that stuff? So it's a very like gray area for me. And I just try to stay the hell away from it as best I can.
I can understand where you come from. However, I don't have a line. I tell parent, I'm the type of person I will tell any parent, if your child comes to my house, they will be expected to act a certain way. And they are not free from discipline. And if you willingly allow them to come to my house, they will get disciplined as how I see fit. If that is a problem, please keep your child at home. That
really shrinks the friend pool there.
I know. Nobody would come to my house if I threw that down.
If I have to have a child over here at my house, and they act up and they get to do it without consequence, I don't want them.
Oh no, mom and dad,
I don't want
they gotta fix that shit. Unless it's like a sleepover, and then I call mom and dad, and I'm like, "Yo, come get your little shit."
No, and I will lay that line out. I say I'm not typically the person that'll call somebody at 2 or 3 a.m. But if I call you at 2 or 3 a.m., there's no compromising. You will come and get your child.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, they will get their butt tore up if that's what the punishment calls for. So
you're not worried at all about people being like, you abused my kid, I'm calling the cops on you and all that stuff?
No, because that will, as Nick said, in the herd, right? So if somebody has a problem with that, they won't send their child over to my house to stay the night. And the thing is I will expect the same for my son. If he was to go over to a friend's house, I would tell them, if my son acts up, punish him accordingly. If you don't want to spank my child, you call me at 2 or 3 a.m. I don't care. I'll come and get it.
That's fair. I agree with the picking him up.
Yeah.
Like, I totally agree with that. Like, I'm always worried that I'm going to get a phone call when my kids go to stay the night, and it's going to be like, your kid's throwing toys or breaking stuff. And be like, hang it.
No, I tell you, look, if you give ass whoopings and he gets to acting up, best believe.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because my son won't be going to anybody's house with whom I don't know. Right.
Yeah, so that's the thing. It's these people that you're talking to like this, you know them. So it's not like you're like talking to a random stranger being like, you bring your kid over to my house and we'll beat him up. Like, you're not doing that. You're talking to people like Nick. You're talking to people like me. Like, you know us and know the parenting style. You know the people.
Yeah. Well, I've noticed that parents, like, I remember back in the day whenever I was a kid, if I went over to a friend's house, my mom made it a point to take time out of her day to go introduce herself. Mm-hmm. And make sure that they have all of her contact information.
Yeah.
Nowadays, a lot of folks don't do that anymore for their kids.
Yeah.
Like, they'll let their kids go to people's houses who they don't even know where they live.
I don't do that.
There's a family that's right up the road from us. I have yet to ever meet any of the family members other than their 12-year-old son, who comes out and he'll play with the toys that I have outside. And there's even at points like he tries to get on my, like, I have a little electric motorcycle for the kids and a little like moped for my daughter. And he tries to get on those with like freaking Crocs or like sandals on. And I'm like, absolutely not. Like, you need to go put all your safety stuff on before you ever get on that thing. Because I'm not going to be liable for you ripping your freaking toe off and then your parents coming out being like, how dare you?
And you're worried about somebody saying you're worried about them abusing your kid. They don't even know you. So that's something else. That's something else. I wouldn't let somebody else's child come to my house without meeting her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is where, like, he doesn't go in the house, but like he's out in the yard or he's out in the like street playing with the kids. And I'm just like, where are your parents?
You never seen him like going to the bus or school or nowhere? Weird.
No, the closest I've seen is I've seen them pass by in their car. That's the best.
They give you the old wave at least.
Yep. Yep. They give me a little.
I don't care if they come to my yard or not. Your child will not be welcome at my house until we've at least formally met. Mm-hmm. And you have my telephone number and I have yours. Because if your kid gets hurt, I should be able to call you.
Yeah.
Right.
If your kid gets acting up, I know where to send them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
You
Nick,
know,
you had a situation you were going to talk about with
T-ball.
with something.
Oh, it was
with
the
the
dye.
obedience. Oh, the dye. Oh,
Well, I can give you two actually. One that's like on topic with what JT just said, but the other one, the first one, was related to dye, and I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, "Oh, dyes and food additives and shit they don't affect you," and then you have the extreme opposite people that are like, "No, nothing. That's not natural." And I when I was a kid, I had fucking severe allergies plus asthma. So during like pollen season, it was just like the trifecta of bullshit that ruined my life. But I was taking I was getting allergy shots once a week, but the doctor also had me taking like a regular regimen of Benadryl through like heavy pollen season. And as I started that, I would have these wild tantrums, dude. I'm talking like kicking holes in the doors in the house, punching holes in the sheetrock. And my parents were like, what the fuck? So I go to, I needed an allergy test anyway. So I go to get tested for allergy, all the allergies. They do the little pinprick thing in your back like 9 million times. Well, guess what the fuck I was allergic to? Red dye.
the dye.
Had a pretty severe allergic reaction show up to it. And the doctor was like, my mom was like, well, his Benadryl has red dye in it. And they started explaining the behaviors, and they were like, well, the funny thing about allergies is not, you don't always break out in hives or get a rash or, get stuffed up or choked up. My allergic reaction was my body treating the red dye like it was fucking speed. It just sent my emotions like to the tippy top of their heights, and they took me off the red Benadryl. I got on another drug that was clear with no dyes, and like my mom, and I still remember to this day, like I noticed the difference. All that bullshit stuff I was doing just disappeared.
Do you still find like have you had any red dye since
all
then?
the
Like,
time.
have you tried it?
Yeah, but I think
okay.
now like my body's able to regulate it, and I mean, it's easier to to kind of not have that, because it would still be a reaction to something my parents would do, right? Like something they'd tick me off, but instead of having a normal temper tantrum, I would have like a level 50 temper tantrum. And when you're an adult, like you're just better at regulating those emotions overall. So I don't really notice it anymore, but I've also outgrown my allergies, so I don't take Benadryl much anymore or anything like that. So, so fun fact: dyes do affect your all sorts of shit. Anyways, moving on to what JT was talking about with disciplining other people's kids. So, there's a kid that lives behind us here, and my son's been hanging out with him, playing with him. They usually get along. I mean, they do boy shit every now and again where they start beating up on each other, and we gotta tell them that's enough playing. But there's this other little shit fuck kid that lives down the street who I already knew from school that this kid, Emerson, had come home a couple times and been like, this kid stole shit from me on the bus, or, he's been pushing me or hitting me on the bus. And I'm not on the fucking bus, so it's hard to say, yay or nay. Is Emerson bending the truth? Is it really happening? But we were out here one day, and him and the kid that lives behind us both had Nerf guns. And so I sent Emerson over there with these two. It's a battery operated Nerf gun, and that motherfucker shoots like, I don't know, probably like 10 darts a second out of it. But I sent him over there with those, with two fully loaded clips. He blasts the shit out of the kids, and he gives one of them to the kid right behind us, who's a cool kid. He's a good kid. And they're playing. And then this little asshole kid, he comes over and tries to rip one out of Emerson's hands. And Emerson basically said, like, no, I'm playing with it. And that kid walked right up to him, like almost touching noses with a fucking soccer ball, and just beanball Emerson in the face with it, like as hard as he could. And I mean, my dad instincts kicked in, and I was like, I mean, I raised my voice loud as shit. And I was like, you can go the fuck home if you think that is an acceptable way to be playing over here. And he left, obviously. I scared, at first he ran and crawled under their trampoline because I scared the shit out of him. I don't think he knew that I was there in the backyard doing shit while they were playing. But then he got his shit together and he went fucking home. And so we had that cookout a couple days later, and I was actually talking with the neighbors about it because the people right beside us also have a younger kid. And I was like, yeah, the kid behind us is really nice. You know, he's fine. And I was like, but the other kid that comes around, you know, he's not such a nice kid. And he was like, oh, I fucking heard you yelling at that kid. And at first I was like, oh, fuck, should I not have? And then I was like, no, I was like, you know what? I finally caught that motherfucker. I was finally able to do something for my son because I physically saw this kid being a little shithead. And I was like, I don't feel bad at all. And he's like, no, dude, like, if my son was playing that way or somebody else was playing with my kid like that, he's like, I would have done the same shit. And I was like, okay, good. Well, I feel better now. But yeah, like Daddy Bear kicked in real fast, and I was like, "The fuck are you thinking?"
I have something to share with you, and let me. This will kind of elaborate how I would deal with someone's child doing that to one of mine. So give me just a second. This right here, correct? I am this
You got
dad.
a sound? Did you click share sound?
Yeah.
Oh, he is not. Oh, the slap. I've seen this one. Oh, man, I love this video.
You can hear it?
Because of one of the most
Yeah.
successful dramas in recent history comes the follow-up series, The Slap, Part 2. You know what? They'd already started repairs, but couldn't even take it anywhere else. Shit about that. Tell me about 2.5 grand later, and then, hey, what's going on?
This would be British people.
No, I give it back. No, what? Give it back. Then give it back now. No, what? Harry, what the hell are you? You can't
Just slapping everybody.
Harry.
And everybody just keeps walking up to him, too.
It's the way he stands that makes it all the more better.
I love it so much.
All right, I was going on it.
Oh,
Fucking
God.
slap everybody.
He smacks the cat out of the
Part
tree.
2, coming soon to
That's great.
Oh, I love that video.
That's funny.
I love that video.
Yeah, I didn't slap anybody, but I definitely raised my voice and let that kid know that shit ain't gonna fly around here.
So, fun fact, I just searched this up. It's fairly rare, but did you all know that there are parents right now that are suing other parents for yelling at their kid?
No.
Then
100%.
people may
Are
as well
they
keep their children
winning?
involved.
Because that sounds like a joke.
So there's a few instances where they did win. There was in some of these like examples. It makes sense. There was one for verbal abuse, another one for defamation. There was one where it was verbal threats, and then there was one that like they were doing a school sport, and basically the parent was belligerent the kid. So some of them I'm like, okay, you're being a dickhead. Some of them I'm like, really? Like verbal abuse or harassment?
No, what I'm trying to say is defamation. Like defamation, regardless, is a hard one to prove because defamation is very, it's clearly defined as speech that is used to intentionally defame someone or affect someone's personal reputation.
Yeah, false accusation.
It's kind of like slander
and accusing a kid of a crime. Yeah, slander. And that's where again some of them were like, this is nonsense, and that one did not win. But it's like there were some that I was reading, and it was like they were on a soccer field, and the guy was like, you can't hit a ball worth shit, and then like the parents were like, we're gonna sue you for that. And they actually won because the court deemed that he was altering the child's mental state.
Oh my lord!
By yelling at him. This is the world we live in right now.
Nobody's gonna coach anymore.
Ladies and gentlemen,
That's fucking
No,
ridiculous.
no, absolutely not. I mean, what can you say to, like, I mean, a high school, baseball coach, and
Oh my
you got some
god,
shithead
dude!
kids that are, in their teens, and you're like saying some shit, and then that kid goes home to his parents. He's like, "Yeah, my coach
It's
said
one
this to
fucking
me."
thing if you're fucking little league or a young ass kid, but when you get into middle school, high school sports, like you need a coach that's a little rough around the edges with you, and you don't need a coach that's fucking coddling you and talking like a baby the whole time. That's bullshit.
Well, I'm not opposed to someone keeping if they specifically quote said your kid can't hit or shit. Okay, the profanity out. I mean, say, man, your kid can't hit. They can't hit the door. Then what are you going? What is? You know what I'm saying? I agree. You can speak to a small child without all the language and everything like that, but.
Even then, the other part for me is like the other part for me is like creating such this standard, mental standard, and like mental. I don't know about y'all, but I remember my parents. I remember my parents and other parents like other parents like dickhead, you're an asshole, and like dickhead, you're an asshole, all kinds of slander, all kinds of words. I mean, you don't know what I did? I learned to just okay. You don't know what I did? You said that. Just okay. Yeah. Nowadays, you said that. Oh, whatever. Stop. Nowadays, you said.
Oh, you said what?
You said.
Oh my god! I don't have time.
Yeah.
I think we lost JT. His video went out.
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
I still hear you, but your video went out.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Are you there? Sir?
Am I back?
I don't know.
I see him, but
you can see him.
I can see him. Yeah.
No, now I can't see
I can see him. Yeah.
That's fucking weird.
That's well.
It's all good because I was gonna do a shorter episode anyway, but that's fine.
Oh, there you go.
Well,
all right. Well,
anyone have any closing statements so we can fix this?
Good night.
Thanks,
Good night.
Don't
Yell at Sherwin unless you want to get sued.
Yeah.
And I wish
profanity
somebody would.
Keep your profanity at a minimum.
All right. Well,
Decorate.
all right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, and make sure you hit like and subscribe. And have a great night. Hit us on the next.
All right. Have a good night.
Great night.
See you.